Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Get Lit. 30 is the new 20. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And click the notification bell so you're notified the next time we post or go live. I'm La Heffa.
And I'm Smiley Jizzle. What's good, man? What a weekend. Yo, I watched this video with this girl that she did 10 years in prison for burglary, for robbery, but she's fired. So I was like, I was like,
So,
I need to, I need to teach her how
she
to
a criminal.
conduct herself better, man. She don't need to be doing this. So I just say it, but that ain't
She
right.
don't need to be seeing that.
That ain't right.
10 years. What she stole?
Yeah, she stole somebody's car.
They gave her
Like,
10 years.
it was because it was like I think it was an armed robbery.
Oh.
I don't know. It was a lot that she did. She was telling the story. I was just like, she's something else.
She is a dad, right?
Yeah, man. Just getting ready for this street event on August 15th. It's a lot of preparation. You know, this is gonna be our first time actually being a vendor at the event. Gonna have some merch. You know, a couple things. People get maybe some lucky prizes. But you get to meet us in person and might be on live. Like you're gonna be getting some footage from the event, walking around um, to see what's going on at the event. So um, I'm hoping it's gonna be a good time. I've been in communication with the people hosting it, and it looks like it's gonna be a pretty good turnout. Got over 100 vendors that's gonna be pulling up, and they're gonna have the full capacity of the green. You know, so you food vendors there, retail vendors, and you know, uh, black-owned business owners for different crafts, different um, different types of what do you call it? Trades. Different trades. So pull up if you can. August 15th. Event starts at 12, ends at 8. There will be music. Um, There's going to be a lot of stuff going on there. So come on, have a good time with us. Enjoy the summer with us. It's a great way to end the summer. And that was other news. There is a music project that my team, Arsenal Entertainment, is working on. Um, that's going to be coming out soon. It's a compilation album with some of our artists. We're hearing a lot of noise about Connecticut. I love it. Um, there's a lot going on. Some of the biggest artists that's out here, we connected with or we communicated with, and up and coming artists. You know, we all live here in Connecticut, so we there's no way that you're not gonna run into people. Uh, it's one of the smallest states in the U.S., so it's hard to not run into somebody um, that's doing something great if they still live here. But shout out to everybody from Connecticut that's making a name for us, and we want to see more. We've been seeing, I think DJ Academics did some sort of expose on us, not expose, but he did a little story on us, whatever. talking about some artists. He was giving some names for some artists that he should listen to. You guys know some Connecticut artists that you think are like the dopest out there, right in the chat. Um, I think I'm pretty good, but but there's other artists out there, you know what I mean, that I know are pretty talented in the shine. Speaking of that, one of the things that we want to discuss, we might as well just kick it off like this, um, get the temperature up a little bit. The song "Spin That," India Irie has some words about it.
We already talked about that last week.
Did we really? We did talk about it. I didn't know. I didn't know if we did. Because I'm just thinking about it. Like a lot of people, there's other people that have said something that is recent, like in the past few days. So I was wondering if, like, you know.
And I want to say, in connection with that, Lauren Hill. I watched the full BET Awards, and it was corny. The best part was Lauren Hill's part when she did, because they gave a tribute to her. She got a lifetime achievement or an icon award or something. So different, but the stuff she said, because that's what her music was about too. Other listening, she didn't mention nobody else's music, but she talked about why she decided to make music, and because she was like, I grew up. I had a great upbringing. Both my parents was around, but when I realized that everybody didn't have my experience, I wanted to figure out a way to give back, to give that energy and that love back to the people that. And so she was like, that's why she made this type of music that she, and her music was positive too. It always had a message. So she gave a speech and she performed a couple songs, but it was really other artists. Um, they did tribute, so other artists were performing her music. But I like what she said. That was the best part of the awards to me. The rest of it, it was all right, but that was at the end. Save the best for last. So I just I don't know why people like, and then every time when someone speaks their mind or they try to say something positive or try to say like, we want better for you, we want our people, and I was talking about black people, we don't want to be viewed a certain way or whatever, so it starts with you or whatever. So that's what they're saying. But then when you make comments like that, then people don't have the wherewithal to they see it as like, oh, you're hating or whatever. Like, it's not hate. You try and show you is a better. You don't have to do that to be successful. Find another way. But you can still have your dignity.
I feel like there's a stigma on our culture that we can't erase. It's like I'm gonna use this word because I remember it lean on me. It's imbued in our culture. This essence of toxicity they associate with our culture. Um, Trying to sound poetic.
Well, they're helping keeping that narrative going with the behavior and making this type of music.
That can also be correct, but I'm not even addressing that. But that can also be correct, but I don't want to address that right now. Well, I want to say on one point how we are painted in a certain depiction, and I've had the opportunity to see this firsthand. Um, I've been spending a lot of time on TikTok doing different panels, and some panels I get kicked off because I'm too real. I get kicked off sometimes because I don't follow the guidelines. I might swear or drop a word or something. But a lot of times when I realize the environment or the people that are up there, a lot of people are willfully obtuse. Continue. I'm gonna put that in. Well,
I don't think there's nothing wrong with what India Ari said, because I think we gotta do better. If we don't want to be viewed a certain way by society, then we need to behave differently. And the majority of the time, when they put this jacket on us, it's because there's some truth to it. People behave a certain way. I have examples in my family of this behavior. So we can't act like it don't exist. We gotta do better. And sometimes it's not always easy. We have obstacles in our way that create certain that make us want to go back into certain behavior. And sometimes we try to do better and not behave certain ways, but certain situations make us regress or go back to the negative behavior that we're trying to come out of. But you can't get mad people uh, having a certain perception of us if most of us are feeding into that and is being accepted by the other people. They're saying, "Oh, this is okay. Spend that." Scamming, whatever the fuck. I don't even know the words because I refuse to sing that shit. Like everybody loves that song. Everybody think it's a bop. It's amazing. Whatever. You listen to what she's saying. You think that's cute to be a scammer or a booster? Like you're gonna go to jail if you get caught. So that's not no life if you gotta watch it back all the time because you're doing criminal activity. That's what you want to do. Whatever. Go ahead and do it. If you don't feel like you're able to get a legal you're able to find legal employment, but then when you get caught, don't be mad at nobody but yourself. And like, but we could do better. You should want more for yourself because when you in doing illegal activity for money, that's limited to certain things. You can only do so much.
sorry about that. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. What was
I was just saying we gotta do better. If we don't want them to view us a certain way, then we gotta be the change that we want to be. And
absolutely.
everybody needs to be on one accord. You can't have people uplifting the negative behaviors that people are doing and then wondering why their society views us a certain way. You're feeding into that narrative and you're making it more true every day. Every ignorant ratchet song that comes out that everybody's singing, that is you're feeding into that narrative.
Right. I agree. Um, so I agree. Yes, we feed into the narrative. But my point was outside of that. So like both can be right. But how I feel is that we're um we're put in a situation to we're put in a situation to fail. You know what I mean? Most of the time. Our parents don't know what they do. Their parents didn't know what they were supposed to do. And it seems like that continues to perpetuate. So we're forced to have to break a cycle. The problem with that is that breaking that cycle sometimes is discouraging. It takes a lot of wherewithal. It takes a lot of inner determination, um, persistence, perseverance. A lot of people don't have those qualities, and so at the sign of trouble, sometimes people run away from it. You know, bow down and what do you say, tuck your tail and run. You know what I mean? Sometimes people feel like the flight answer is the easiest solution because it absolves you of any other responsibilities or it absolves you of failure. You know what I mean? But failure is a learning experience. A lot of times we need to fail so we can learn how to win. You know, and a lot of times if you don't fail and you win, you're what they call, which kind of sounds crazy, redundant, a sore winner. You know what I mean? How can you win and be sore about it? You know, some people go and they don't have any humility or whatever when they come from shortcomings, you know, small beginnings. You know what I mean? And we don't take that into consideration. But our culture specifically, sometimes when we do accomplish something, it goes to our head because we're so used to not having a lot. Quoting Jay-Z. There was a story about a female, um, I believe she was a surgeon, and they got her like dancing on like TikTok or something like that, and she ended up losing her job as a surgeon at that particular practice. And I'm looking in the comments, and there's a lot of like, you know, see, this is why, whatever. And I'm also thinking about, okay, when Dr. Ben Carson separated the two conjoined twins, if he did a celebration or he did a TikTok um, after he did that, I don't think it would have been anything wrong with it if his procedure was successful and there weren't any hiccups. Unfortunately, with her procedure, there were some lasting effects as a result of her horse foot. So, and sometimes, like, if you're really good, sometimes you gloat, sometimes you celebrate too much because you're good at something. But sometimes it's just best to stay professional and do things the right way. You know what I mean? You got to put in that hard work, you know, when you're talented. You know, there's a saying with athletes that hard work beats talent, talent never beat hard work. You know, so considering things like that, you know, I feel like it's important um, to understand the dynamic of how society, the role really that society plays in the formation or ideology behind some of the ratchet behavior that we have, and that's not to like absolve us completely of the blame, but just to have the understanding. Now, is that what we are? No, that's not what we are. We can't be better. We have been better. We have examples of us being better. But we also have to understand again what's the role that society plays. Society plays a big role in why we behave the way that we do. Like I said, the lack of certain knowledge or whatever. But at this point, here's where I separate. Our current era, there's really no excuse because of the resources that are available to you. These resources weren't available in the 90s or the 80s or the 70s or the 60s or the 50s or the 40s or whatever, but they are now. And some of the people that were raised in the 90s going into the early 2000s have adapted to some of these, you know, advances and nuances in technology and society. And we don't take advantage of those. But the reason we didn't probably take advantage of them because it's slow. You know what I mean? So it's like when you think like everybody caught on at the same time, that's not the case. Some people probably got things earlier because of the resources that they already had, whereas there's some people that probably didn't have resources. Now there's poverty, um, Caucasian individuals and there's poverty, African Americans. But what I'm saying is that because we're such a small group, it just affects us collectively more, even if there's like a small percentage of us that's not getting our shit together versus a larger percent. We still make up 14% of the population. So that group, even if it's 30%, even if it's 20%, it's still large numerically because of how small of the group that we make up. So any number over 10% is kind of detrimental to us. But what we need to understand is that the number of us being successful outweighs the number of us that are degenerate, as you would say. Most of us do what we got to do. We get along. I'm talking about getting along as far as business wise, and we do what we have to do to maintain. But as far as us being the leaders in society and all that, for everybody, that's like only like 20% of the population. 10% of the population are making like millions of dollars. I mean, somewhere around that number. Like, it's not like a huge number. And that doesn't just include us. We might be like 1% or something in that number. You know what I mean? If that. So it's like, this is not, it's out of our control, but what we could understand is how we can make things a little bit more easier for us to get the edge. I think being more communicative amongst our community as a whole, speaking to each other, acknowledging each other, loving each other, you know what I mean, and getting over some of the differences and trying to learn how to be better as people, um, living by certain standards and morals that align with the goals that we have set forward for us, because we have to have certain principles and discipline to help us continue to thrive as a culture. Culturally, we're not going to thrive unless we decide, okay, I'm going to make this change within myself. And sometimes it's difficult for us to make those changes, so we got to do that first. And lastly, what I would say is we need to just stop just being so impatient. Like, I feel like the problem with us is that we want things too quick. You know what I mean? Overall, and we shouldn't set unreal expectations, especially um, in situations where we can't really control the outcome. You know. So I mean, I'm saying all of this really to say about the what was the topic we were talking about
Well, I want to address what you said about that girl. Even I don't work in, I'm not a doctor or whatever, but even at any job, when you fill out the application, there's certain things you're not supposed to do. So you're not supposed to post certain things on social media that could make. So I don't know what type of TikTok video she did or whatever, but that does make a difference too. What type of video? And then you probably had your uniform on. So if the company feel like you making them look bad or whatever, then that's something that you fill out. If you read the paperwork before when you fill out an application or whatever, there's a bunch of paperwork that you got to fill out, and even after you get hired, there's other paperwork and guidelines and stuff that you got to follow. So if you read that, then you would know that they have a social media clause where you're not supposed to be posting certain things on social media. So if you don't follow that, or if you didn't read it, either one, that's on you. So nobody should feel bad because you're an adult, you're a surgeon, you're old enough to, you should know how to read. I would think, if you're operating on people. So if you didn't read that, or if you did read it and then you didn't follow the rules, then that's your fault. You got your own self fired because you wasn't following the rules. So nobody should feel bad for you. This is not the first time that this happened. It's like that girl on the airplane that was perfect. And she had like the flight attendant working on the airplane, and she got fired because you're not supposed to be doing that. And you can't be mad if you agree to something or you just sign it. A lot of times people don't read stuff; they just be signing their life away. And this is should teach you, if you don't read, and if you do read, you need to follow the rules and what you agree to. You don't got nobody to blame but yourself because nobody forced you to adhere to something. If you if you read the paperwork and then you still chose to sign on the dotted line, then you did the opposite of what was expected of you. But yeah, we gotta do better. Um, yeah, we only can do what we can control. So if we don't want to be viewed a certain way, and I think if more people, because there's a lot of people um instead of that. A lot of people are excusing the behavior instead of saying like, oh, this is wrong, you need to do better or whatever. And that's part of the problem. Like if more people would say, no, this is wrong, this is what needs to be done, you should know better, you got to do better, I want better for you. It's not because I'm hating or trying to talk down on you, because we're all a representation of each other if you share the same skin color. So we don't want you looking bad. We don't want you making everybody else look bad. Because even if we have different ideologies or different mindsets and we view things differently, if one person goes online and do some ratchet stuff, then we're all gonna be it's all gonna be a reflection on all of us. Just like when women go online and make these crazy things, these crazy statements when it comes to romantic relationships, and then they put it on all women because of one woman made a comment. We're not a monolith. We all have different minds. Some people think the same, some people don't. But when you do certain stuff in the public light, it affects everybody of how the way they do it. And that's unfortunate, but that's just what it is. And because there's a small percentage of us that are here out of everybody else, then we need to make sure that everybody's on the same accord. But obviously, unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen. You're just going to have to do what you know is right or what you feel is right, and you can't really worry about other people unless these are your loved ones or people that you deal with, because you can't control what other people do. And a lot of people are not going to get it or they're not going to agree, and you don't got time to like get them to do the right thing or try to change their mindset. They got to reach that on their own.
That's why, the people that I'm talking to are the people that's listening. You know what I mean? Like everybody not gonna do it, but that's why I said I don't speak to the negative because I'm putting out a positive message for the people that want to hear it. So the people that want to hear it, listen to it. Um, it's just really important to acknowledge things that have happened to us that play a part, not as an excuse, but understanding. Because you can see why some of your peers behave a certain way, and maybe if you care to do it, you can help guide them the proper way. That's what the fruit do. They help misguide it. You know what I mean? Teach on people. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody not gonna feel the same, and that's fine. You're not trying to change people's mind. You're just trying to help people understand. And a lot of times people just not gonna understand, and that's fine. But the person, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the person next to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. It's okay. Like that's not really fair. It's just really like it's gonna not reach some people, and some people it's gonna reach them, and you just have to accept that. But some of those things come with what you're trying to do. Those are shortcomings. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But you don't stop what you're doing if you believe that there's a purpose behind whatever you're doing. If you're doing something and you actually believe in it, that's just like with any business. Like you believe enough in your product to sell it, that's enough for you to keep doing your business. It could be 15 years, motherfuckers be like, yo, you ain't make it down. And everybody telling you, yo, get that up, you waste the money with that. And then year 16, well, you know what I mean? Like it do happen like that, but 16 years is excessive. But I would say if you're putting the right amount of marketing into it, you're really putting forth the effort, um, day in, day out, and really not sparing any expense. It's not going to take you 16 years. But you have to invest in yourself. You have to believe that it's possible with a good amount of work. And I never talk about get rich quick. I never talk about something happening in 2 weeks or making $1 million a month or something like that. I never talk about that. Talking what I believe is practical for the normal person. It's practical for the normal person if you could be making an additional couple $1,000s, maybe $3,000 a month, in addition to what you're already making. And then at some point, you don't need to rely on what you were already making because the new income will replace the old income unless you want to keep it. But the big boom of you making money actually comes with you continuing to push yourself and you continuing to have faith in your business and figuring out what's not working. You know what I mean? Like those resources we were talking about, don't be afraid to use ChatGPT. But the thing is, again, there's people that need to be taught to. There's people 30, 30, 35, 36. They're learning this because they're using the internet. They're going on Google. They're doing all these things, using all these resources that may not have been accessible to them when they were younger because they didn't have the money to have a computer in their house, or maybe they did, or their parents didn't know how to teach them how to surf the net for certain things, or didn't encourage them to do certain things, or financial literacy, or saving, or building your bank account, or any of those things. Maybe they didn't learn those things, right? Those things hold us back for periods of time. And because those things have held us back for so long, when we finally do it, we're discouraged because it doesn't work out as soon as we start. So I'm saying to everybody that's listening to commit to taking that risk in yourself, investing in yourself, and taking that time to learn what you're good at, what you can do, how you can contribute in different niches that you can get involved in that can make you a lot of money. You know, don't give up because there's this stigma in society that portrays Black people a certain way, which we know that's not all of us. You know what I mean? And it's just gonna be like that. You know what I mean? They don't want us to be successful. Obviously, you know that. So you gotta go against the grain. You gotta push yourself. You gotta go. Sometimes you gotta go harder than everybody else. You know, and that hurts. But you just gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta fight through it. Especially I'm talking to the men. Sometimes you just gotta keep pushing. When there's no other way to do it, you have to try to make a way. Sometimes you gotta do things that you don't want to do. You gotta be in uncomfortable positions for a period of time. And those uncomfortable positions will definitely pay off, I promise you. It's just a matter of how long you're gonna be in that uncomfortable position. And you have to make peace with that. And once you make peace with that, you start to become successful. I believe that wholeheartedly. Um, One of the things that was brought up in one of the TikTok discussions I was talking about was another thing that our culture or other cultures may um, shun is this was a TikTok prompt. It was, why do women have a problem with age gap dating? And it was women specifically. A woman created the prompt. And it was interesting to me, why women? Because I do feel like guys don't care. But there are some guys that think it's weird or whatever because they have children. Um, but by and large, you know, men would rather date younger, not young, but younger, meaning maybe 25 starting, you know what I mean? If they have a gap, they don't mind what that gap is as long as that woman is of age. So to me, 25, let's start there so it's not a weird conversation. Let's not talk about anything beyond that and stay at 25. And then 25, whatever age, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. But the woman is 25. She's of legal. So, like, with that being stated, I don't understand why it's such a taboo in society. And I understand that there's some women that don't do it. Some women just don't want to date a young guy. They understand that he probably doesn't have much to offer. They generally don't come well equipped with those things. a learning experience, especially in our culture, because I just told you how many disadvantages we have. So they have to build that. They have to get to that point. That takes time. Unless they just went to college, they got everything when they got out of college, and that degree worked. Some degrees don't work. You know what I mean? And I'm not even going to talk about that. That's a whole discussion. I'm going to go around the whole. But they figured out which one works, and they're able to make money off it. They're an accountant. They're doing whatever. Um, and they're making money doing that, but it's not common. So like you're doing the retail or whatever you're doing before you get to the corporate style of like, because it's all a learning experience. What do you like, what you don't like, because you don't know. No one's telling you, no one's giving you vocational training. You're just going out there figuring it out for yourself a lot of times in our culture. Because our parents are working and don't have time to parent. You know. But when you do learn these things, make haste of it, whatever time that is. If you learn it at 23, make haste of it at 23. Don't wait until you're 30 something to start thinking big plans, because you're going to be discouraged. When you realize how tough it is, you're going to be discouraged. So it's good to best get out of the way when you're younger. So when you get older, it's nothing. It's light. It's cake work. You just push through it. But it's good to have that.
Okay, let's get into one of our topics. Because that was, we were just talking about different stuff that wasn't. But I know you guys probably heard about this. The flight instructor that jumped off the plane while during a flight lesson, and the student landed the plane by herself. She was 22 years old. Check this out. I got a clip. Hold on. These ads. Oh.
Prescription drug prices in the world. Drug prices policy in the law, which would lower our drug prices dramatically.
What is there to
One-on-one. It's a family affair tonight. I go one-on-one with two men who followed in their family business, but have managed to carve out their own identity and made a name for themselves doing what they do best. Christopher Golson is known in the world of music as Drummer Boy. He is a
Well, I don't know. I can't find it. I don't know which that clip it says that is about the instructor. But anyway, the instructor jumped out the plane in the middle of the lesson, and the student, 22-year-old female student, had to land the plane on her own. She she listened to air traffic command, or however you refer to that, and they were able to guide her on how to lead the plane. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that? Like that's so scary for her to remain calm enough, and she's 22 years old. She never did this on her own, and I mean maybe she felt safe because the people were guiding her on what to do, but that's scary.
I think it's incredible um, and unfortunate because someone lost their life for whatever uh, mental issues, depression, who knows what was going on in their personal life. And just like to, not to go back into what we're talking about, it's not on the topic, but it's the same thing. When you work, your pressures that you have in your job, you know what I mean, whatever you got to do, and responsibilities in life. A lot of men have a lot of responsibilities. So some of those responsibilities could have been the new word that they're using now. It's not really a new word, but it's being coined now. Overstimulated or overwhelmed. Um, but a lot lot of times you get overwhelmed with certain things, and the impact of that a lot of time ends up in these crazy situations. And so the unfortunate part is like you're training somebody that has full confidence in your skill set, and you let them down as a leader, right? Now, again, my heart goes out to the family, you know what I mean? Rest in peace to this guy, you know what I mean? But it could have been two people that lost their life. So it's like I behoove you to not get discouraged with the pressures of life, you know, because, you know, we're supposed to be projectors, providers. I still believe in that. And it's hard for us to do that when we're not getting the help that we need or guidance that we need in certain areas. And we feel like we can't talk to anybody, get therapy, but do it.
I think I found the clip. I don't know. I'm just gonna play. Ding, 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 ding. So yeah, prayers definitely go out. Nala, don't start.
You know, so what I'm saying is there's a lot of stuff that, you know, we encounter. And so the unfortunate part is, you know, they're training somebody to let that person down. But the incredible part is her reaction. Like, um, still maintaining poise, like she was saying. Um, you must have been extremely scared in this situation, and you just had a clear head. You knew how to navigate. You knew how to do everything that you learned. Following directions is key, and for me, that says a lot because when we talk about people not being able to be pilots because they're a certain race or they're this or they're that or whatever, and a woman that was a trainee just was able to land a plane because the, the original pilot decided they wanted to abandon the ship, and she was forced to land it by herself, and she did it successfully. So imagine what that's going to look like on her resume going forward. So for her, wow, you know what I mean? And hats off to this. So what race was she? You know,
I'm trying to play it. And this was it was on July 9th. And well, the news say it was this happened in Los Angeles. Well, I'm just gonna read it because I don't know, it's not playing. A pilot jumped out of the door of a moving plane and unalived himself, leaving the student he was teaching to fly to land the aircraft by herself. The flight instructor's name was Leandro Andres Bertazzo. He was 42. He was found, his body was found following the incident, which took place in Toledo, central Argentina on Saturday, according to a statement from the country's public prosecutor published Tuesday. Bertazzo was on board the Cessna 150 aircraft with a 22-year-old student named Rosario. CNN affiliate TN reported, so I guess she's Spanish because it was in Argentina. Her name is Rosario. Students at Bertazzo, the teacher, told her, "You know what you have to do, carry on," before taking off his headset and seatbelt, opening the door, and jumping out of the plane. Eduardo Alvarez, director of the Flying Parrot Cordoba Flying School, where Bertazzo worked, told TN that there was no signs that the pilot was planning to throw himself from the plane. Bertazzo had gone on a flight with another student earlier that day, Alvarez said. He made this tragic decision on board an aircraft with another person by his side. He said it's impossible to think about it or understand it, but the human mind is so complex. Bertazzo was a beautiful person with a great smile, said Alvarez. We're surprised that this happened. Opening the door of a plane in midair is extremely difficult, explained Alvarez, who compared to trying to open the door of a car traveling 124 miles per hour. Yeah, because all the wind and everything. Rosario, the student, managed to land the plane safely despite being in complete shock. He added the plane was undamaged, Alvarez said. Bertazzo is highly experienced and had also worked as a flight instructor in neighboring Chile. Prosecutors will now investigate the exact details of the incident that led to Bertazzo's death. So they're still investigating it. It sounds pretty clear cut. I mean, unless they want to know why he jumped her, you're trying to imply that somebody pushed him or something. But it seems like we know what happened. But I guess they gotta confirm. But yeah, like you said, prayers go out to that man and his family, and who knows what he was dealing with or what was going through his head. Um, it's sad, but luckily, nobody else was hurt.
It's crazy. Like jumping out of planes, like that was like a big thing. You know, they kept on trying to make people do it. Like, yo, you want to do parachute?
That's what Chris did. He liked it.
I like it. I wish I did it in the military, but I chickened out when I did it outside the military and spent mad money. But I would definitely love to learn to be a professional skydiver. You know, that'd be cool. I still don't know how to swim. I'm gonna get my swimming lesson. I'm not gonna give up on myself.
Yeah, you need to. So you can enjoy. No, because I'm telling you, once you learn.
I told you, I'm putting it on myself. I'm holding myself accountable. I'm trying to do that.
No, but I'm saying it's fun. Like I was just talking about that. Like I don't need to do that. I'm talking about because for swimming or like even just floating in the water, like looking up at the sky and hearing the water in your ear, and it's just so peaceful and like it's peaceful. I mean, okay, whatever. Don't do it. But prayers go out to that guy, Bertazzo. I think that was his name and his family. I hope that that they're able to make it through this very trying time. And I wonder why he decided to jump. Like what was going on in his mind.
Yeah, I hope more information comes out.
Is you said a woman discovers her husband is a part of the LGBTQ community through Facebook and files for divorce, and the situation ends in an act of violence. What happened there?
So he was exposed by her. She wanted to get a divorce. Well, no, he wasn't exposed by her. Sorry. He was exposed by some other means. And she found out and she filed for divorce. And he shot her like 15 times, 5 times. 15 times, 5 times. He shot her several times. I don't know exactly how many times, but it was more than 5 at least. So for me, it's a crazy situation. Like with that, I don't even know how to touch that topic. Like honestly, they've been together, and then that's your husband. You found out this crazy stuff. I don't even know how do you come back from that because you're supposed to forgive them and all that stuff.
Now he like messing with no man.
Violation, I guess, and then that's like again that moral standard that we have. What is that? What does that look like for you? Is this something? Is this a principle that you can manipulate in your relationship, or is this something that's like, no, there's no coming back from this. This is a done deal. This is like just as bad as physically abusing or mental abuse or whatever. So if they feel like that, and they can't come back from that, then that's it. Therapy, I would recommend therapy for most married people because y'all married. I think whatever it is, it should have been figured out before you decided to get married. But since you didn't, Now you got to work with it and then think about if there's children involved. What does it look like for these kids? Do you just abandon ship? You know what I mean? You put
Oh my God.
But no, you gotta take the ride. You know what I mean? To see what happens now. In situations like this, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how to touch that because I can't relate to that. I think for guys' perspective, women allowing themselves to be with another woman or something in a relationship, there are some guys that would be against it. I always gotta talk about the outliers, but the vast majority, I believe, are okay with it as long as they figure out that they can join, and then if it's like, you know, they can't, then there's a problem with that. But then it's the secret part of it. Like, I want to know what's going on. Like, don't be doing this behind my back. Don't, you know what I mean? If you probably present that to your guy and say, hey, I got a girl that I like and I want to bring her in, it's kind of fishy because then it's like you bring this girl in, like, how long you been planning this? So the same curiosity, you know, is shared on both sides, but then a dude, like, I don't know, because he's supposed to be your protector, he's supposed to be masculine, he's supposed to be that leader and all of that, and he's messing with another dude. I don't know how you, I associate that with emasculation, you know, making him effeminate to that regard, to do that, because you're attracted to a man, so that, to me, you know, because they do say that the older is masculine, because they try to defend them. There's masculine, um, you know, LGBT guys or whatever, but it's still like, to me, it doesn't make any sense, and I'm just gonna call it like that. You know, it doesn't make any sense to hold them to the same standard. There's a double standard. You know what I mean? Clearly, and I think that we just dismiss it because it's not comfortable to accept it. It's not comfortable to accept that we're not biologically equal. It's not comfortable to accept that we can't do the same thing. There's some things that we can get away with, and there's some things that y'all can get away with. Like, it's just like that, but that is not one of them, in my opinion. It's definitely a double standard with that. But
It shouldn't be difficult to accept because the man is a man and a woman is a woman, and we have biological differences. So I don't know why people keep trying to make us equal. But I never. The only thing we should have equal rights as humans, but that's it. Everything else, biologically, there's differences. So people need to acknowledge that. All I can find if this is on social media, so I'm not sure if there's no news article about it. I'm not sure if this is true or not. And I've been seeing a lot of posts like that where I can't find, because all I see is it's showing on Instagram and Facebook, but it says um Alicia Lofton is the woman from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Alicia filed for divorce and obtained a protection order after discovering her husband Marcus Lofton had a secret double life on a Facebook group for G men. Despite the restraining order, Marcus broke into her home and shot her 15 times. You were right, it was 15. The day after she served him divorce papers. He was ultimately sentenced to 25 to 50 years in prison for second-degree murder. But again, I don't know. We don't know the truth if this is true or not, because all that is, when I search it up, all I'm seeing is social media. Is only showing information from social media about it.
I mean, that sounds like it would be big news, so it would be in different outlets, but I don't know. Like, some of these stories don't really make it when it's dealing with people of color. Like, it just makes it to the local news. So you gotta find out where it was at, and it might be popular there, but I mean,
it was in Grand Rapids, Michigan. But it was a Facebook group that said, where's your man or something, or is this your man? And that's where she discovered that he was on the down low.
Oh, there's a lot of infidelity in relationships, and it comes in all different forms. But how do we feel about like you spending all your money taking care of somebody, and then they misuse the money that you're spending? I'm sorry, the money that you're giving them to like get somebody to get another man. How do you feel about that?
Say that again.
You pay everything for someone, then they decide they're going to take the money that you give them and use it to buy someone a gift. Another, like, I don't know if it's an acquaintance, friend, lover, another male if it's a woman, another woman if it's a male. How do you feel with that?
Who is the person that you're, and what are you
Person you're in a
lying about?
relationship with,
How you're
I
getting?
don't know.
No, the person that you buying the gift for, and are you
Right.
lying to the person that you're getting the money from and telling them that you're doing something else with the money?
They just found the gift.
But I'm saying when they were giving them the money, were they saying, "Oh, I need
No,
this
it's
to do this,"
to
or
give you allowance or whatever.
well, then if that's your money, it depends. I need more context. Is this a romantic partner? Because that makes a difference. Or is it a family member or something? If you give me allowance, then I could do what I want with it, unless it's disrespecting the relationship. So if it ain't no romantic person that you're buying this gift for, and you weren't lying about what you needed the money for to get it, then I don't see an issue with it. But if you were lying and saying, "Oh, I need money to do this or that," and then you ended up buying somebody a gift, then yeah, because you're being deceitful.
So the lie is the thing.
Yeah,
I'm not saying there's a lie. That's not in the.
that's what I'm saying. I need
In the
more
question.
Context because we don't know
The
who they're
question
getting.
is basically it's very vague.
You say you bought a gift for somebody, but it doesn't say what their relationship is. If you just bought a gift for your parent and you giving me money, it now belongs to me.
How you feel about that? But let me tell you what it is. So, a wife allegedly cheats on her husband and reportedly buys Meta smart glasses for the person she's involved with using her husband's money. Is this one of the ultimate acts of betrayal?
So I answered it yes, because I said if it's somebody you romantically
You're in a
involved with,
relationship, you should not be using any of the money in your relationship to buy another man outside of family a gift. I don't care who it is, unless you brought that to your husband's attention. If your husband's okay with it, then okay. It's
That's
not
what
your
I said.
boyfriend, it's your fucking husband. I think they have say over what happens with the money that they give you. Especially when you're spending it to give people gifts. Now, there could be a practical way to look at it. It's not like controlling because, like, if I'm giving you the money, then
I have the right to ask what you doing with it.
Right. So,
oh, I did find.
He's like wearing the Meta glasses and shit, and then she's like, take them off. You got so weird.
It's his. He paid for it. Well, but you gave her the money. Well, with his money.
He can't be an Indian.
That's why I said if they had obviously he didn't know. So and then that's somebody that you're messing with.
So there's no way around that. It is what it is. But I'm just trying to be funny because like he can't be an Indian giver, but it's just like okay, I would agree with that, but you're still breaking this marital sanctity that we have by buying another man a gift. That's a little like disrespectful in my opinion.
I did find the article with that man. that it happened in say 2025 when that guy shot that lady, shot the boy.
Okay.
The judge sentenced a man to decades in prison for killing his wife. Marcus Lofton shot his estranged wife, Alicia Lofton, multiple times just a day after she served him divorce papers. 13 on your side's Callie Lichter was in court, and Callie Lofton also faced a jury.
That's right, Elena and Juliet. Lofton took his plea deal after a mistrial in May, which came less than a week into the trial. A Grand Rapids man will spend over 2 decades in prison for killing his wife in 2023. It happened the day after Alicia Lofton served Marcus Lofton divorce papers, just 6 months after they were married. He went to trial in May, but it ended in a mistrial. Then, months later, Lofton pleaded guilty to felony firearm and second-degree murder in her killing.
The day that I found out she was gone, I felt like my legs collapsed.
Several family members of Alicia addressed Lofton in court, saying they disapproved of him and knew he wasn't right for her, like her aunt Jennifer Lee.
I feel that he wasn't introduced to the family because he's an embarrassment.
Alicia's father, Arthur Joseph, had strong words for Lofton.
I just want the court to know that this guy is a piece of garbage. My daughter introduced me to this guy one time, and I didn't like him from minute one.
Said Alicia hid her marriage from her family because they despised him.
Not much more I can say about this guy other than I wish I could handle this and serve justice on his right now. And that's it.
Alicia's daughter stared directly at Lofton as she told him he took her biggest supporter away from her.
So I just want you to know you will never win. And I want you to think about this for the rest of your life.
While Lofton's attorney says he's remorseful, Lofton was still sentenced to 2 years for felony firearm, followed by 25 to 50 for second-degree murder per the plea deal. Judge Scott A. Noto left Lofton with a brief statement before he was taken away.
I don't have anything further to say, Mr. Lofton. I think Mr. Joseph said it best, so I refer to his words.
I was about to say.
Lofton has just shy of 2 years.
I wasn't going to say that, but I was going to say he didn't get.
This dude had a family, like,
and she had a protective order against her, so that's crazy. That they only gave him.
My heart goes out to him, but he destroyed. Again, we're protectors, and we're failing. Like, every single story is about a failure on the people that is going to have the most confidence. I don't like it because it leads into my thinking of personal experiences, because it's like the people that you instill a lot of authority or a lot of responsibility and you can't count on them, that is a problem in any setting. You know, so it bothers me. All of these things have a correlation of failure in leadership. And then sometimes it's just like a breakdown. Like, sometimes you need people to help you, let people in, let people know what's going on. Get the help that you need. New developments emerge as Stefon Diggs' accuser submits additional text messages and direct messages in court. You know about that?
No. I know what they was accusing him of SA. What is that guy that they were talking about?
Yeah, the dude.
Yeah, but I didn't know that he said something else. Hold on. I don't think all these people be making up stuff when they say it. And it's crazy. Look at you, Cardi. Now you wrapped up in this because you want. I mean, you're not because you ain't wearing no more. But that's embarrassing. I mean, what's worse, getting cheated on or the guy that you dealing with having kids at the same time as you having your children, and then a man accusing him of SA.
When you're dealing with a dude that's petty and stuff like that happens, like I told you, You know what I mean? And it's like, it makes you just want OJ. You know what I mean? But you can't. Rest in peace.
That guy ain't making it up.
I don't know.
Why would a guy?
Not, but I heard that community sometimes they do lie on people.
I mean, anybody can lie, but it's usually men don't. Usually it's women that make up stuff.
Men don't. Like I don't know. Do they still have the same morals as men?
He's still a man. He's not a transgender.
You are a man, but you're feminine. So your principles and morals definitely gonna align with. It's a little bit different. So I wonder.
Diggs. According to court documents, Christopher Griffith, the man accusing Diggs of sexual assault, claims he turned over more than 100 pages of text messages and Instagram DMs to help back up his accusations in court. Now, Diggs originally sued Griffith for defamation in October 2025, after he publicly alleged that Diggs drugged and assaulted him at his Rockville, Maryland home back in May 2023. Now, Griffith hit back with a countersuit. Now, all of these allegations are allegedly, all right? Diggs, of course, denies everything, and he's currently an unsigned free agent after the New England Patriots released him earlier this year. There are new developments in.
They released him because they was like, we don't want we don't want you on our team with these accusations. Mm-hmm. He got them little neck braids. Those be the ones. But I don't know. I don't know. I hope that guy ain't making it up. And if Stefon did it, then we need to get in trouble. You can't. People having money and they be thinking that they could just do whatever they want, and we need to stop that way of thinking. Consent.
A little over topic, so I got a question. Again, like I said, I spent a lot of time on TikTok. So there's a topic that I came across. I thought it was pretty entertaining. Should single mothers date in 2026? And this is going to be good to segue into the other topic. Mr. Tigger.
Yeah, they probably are, and that's why they're in the retro world. That's why they are athletes, because they want to be around, especially football players. You get to stand behind their butt and they be bent over and stuff.
Single mothers?
No, he just wrote a comment in the chat that a lot of athletes be G, because we can't say that. But you said should single mothers date? I don't think just don't date people that don't date a man that doesn't want a baby mom. I don't think you should stop dating because you had children. But I also, if you keep on having children and you're not staying with the people, then you need to do some looking within and figure out what's going on, because you're the problem at some point if this keep on happening. If you have multiple children with different baby fathers, or vice versa, but just don't date men that don't want baby moms. If you want, I don't think you should stop dating altogether. But you have different priorities now. We have children. You have to make sure. I don't think you should just be having different men in and out of your life once you have children. So when you do date, and if you decide to bring a man around, you should make sure that man is gonna stick around or be close to certain. I mean, you can't really know for sure. You don't know what the future will bring or whatever. But I don't think you should be just bringing multiple different men.
I like that comment. Read that out, yo.
If they care about, I can't see it because the heart is in the way. If they care about, it's covered up.
If they care about kids, seeing them with multiple men, they can only be recreational use.
If they care about the kids, seeing them with multiple
men, they can only be recreational use.
Well, they obviously didn't care. They wouldn't be having so many kids with all these different people. So, because they should have thought about that when they decided to have children. And they must be for recreational use if they have multiple baby fathers and nobody's stuck around. That's what I'm saying. The woman becomes the problem, or a man too, if he have multiple baby moms and you ain't staying with none of them, you just having children. Like, what are you doing?
This is a good one because it's controversial. Because it goes back to another thing, and I gotta throw it in here. There was another conversation we had about.
They don't have to sneak to. I'm saying you shouldn't even be focused on that, because once you have a child, that should be your priority, especially as a woman, because usually the woman is the one when the parents split up. That's the main parent that's raising the child. The kid usually lives with the mom in most cases, so they shouldn't even be thinking about dating until they get their life straightened out and everything is. And you need to be thinking about a husband or someone that's gonna stick around and not just trying to sleep with someone and have fun because now you have a kid. It's not about that anymore. The priority should be the child and what's best for them. Not like that goes out the window once you start having children. So even sneaking around, you shouldn't be doing that either, because that shouldn't even be in your head.
The priority should definitely be the child. But this is what I'm saying, because I'm an advocate for people date whoever they want to date. It doesn't matter. And then that goes back into, I can't contradict myself and say that women that have children can't date, because I said that both men can date too. I put women that have children in the same category as both men. If we're gonna go by dating standards, because the expectation is like, okay, if this guy doesn't have any money at the current time, and he may be broke for the moment, and just have, he has the money, he does whatever he has to do, but he just don't have enough money to take you to the movies or something like that or whatever. If you have kids and all these other things, then I think you should probably want to be with a broke dude, because you could be in the house, watch your kids, you know what I mean, if you trust them, you know what I mean, and all that other stuff. I think that is probably a better opportunity for you with that dude than it is for you to be with somebody inside games. Because most of the women that have multiple kids, they don't know how to act. That's why they got multiple kids and the father's not there. When you think about like the responsibility that comes with you taking care of somebody else's kids, it's not like the end of the day. It's not the end of the world, but you have to be able to compensate. You got to be able to take care of that responsibility, because you can't just be like, I'm just gonna be around and just smash this chick when she introduced her kid to you. And if y'all just playing around, y'all just like, whatever, y'all not being serious like that, kids shouldn't be around. Don't bring your kid around me. And he's right. Like, I hate when, they introduce you to their kid before you even get to know them. Like, let me get to know you first to see if it's even, you know what I mean? Because then I bond with this child.
Yeah, you can tell them that you have a child or children, but don't be bringing them around as soon as you meet. You don't even know if this.
I'm trying to get it in. Like, don't have that kid around.
And kids get attached, so you're creating more trauma. Their father already not around. Now you're gonna bring another man around that's gonna disappoint, and they don't understand. Like, oh, this is why they're a kid. So that you need to be mindful of that. But people don't be thinking about that. They just.
That's why they travel on them girl trips. They get to be 304s out of sight of people who would shame them. Absolutely. They don't want us to shame. They don't want us to shame them, and they don't.
I don't have.
Here's the thing: it works both ways. Men can be shamed for stuff. Women can be shamed for stuff. Shaming, I believe, is very constructive. A lot of times, if the intentions are good or by social construct, good. You know what I mean? If you know you want to encourage people to be more productive in society, then you have to accept that, you know, there's going to have to be changes, there's going to have to be structure built around that to encourage that, because some people just not going to do right unless you put something to keep them right. You know what I mean? And it sucks because you know what you should be doing and then you don't do it. So it's like, it is what it is. But for a dude that's broke and a single mom, they're in the same category because people claim they don't want them, but they always get snatched up. Broke dudes get snatched up. That's why women mad about it. Young joints that's probably not that equipped mentally, they get snatched up. Older chicks mad about it. You got single moms getting snatched up. People that can't deal with single moms or something, they mad about it. It is what it is. You know what I mean? If you're a single mom and you take care of your kid and you only got one kid, I think there has to be an idea of how many kids are too bad or too much rather. Because if you got the bread, and a lot of women be like, well, if he got the money, it don't matter to him, whatever. Who just want to give up money for nothing? I don't think a lot of people, there's a transaction there. So it's like, yeah, he might not really, if he really with you and he really care about you, absolutely. Like, I mean, I can't disagree with that. But don't just say that, like, that's how it works. Like, he's just gonna be tricking on you when you got a child, and that's the way it works. No, you give him some sugar. Don't try to dismiss it. Pretend that that's a part of it. This dude said, yo, if a woman got 7 kids, is she just for recreational use, just like Retro said? And the dude really didn't want to answer it directly. And I'll be honest, I'm piggybacking off of what Retro said. Absolutely, she's recreational use because you setting yourself up when she got multiple children. Now, we say multiple children, we're talking about more than one. So that doesn't necessarily mean women that have a child should not date. I'm saying that they can still date if they got 7 kids, but I'm just saying the expectation should be a lot lower. Because look at what you bring in. Like, you bring in a lot of burden, a lot of baggage. Didn't you hear Erykah Badu songs? It wasn't about all the different bags that y'all can buy.
Bag a lady, you gon' miss your bus. Dragging all them bags like that.
Because they compromise because they like you, or they feeling you, or they want to build something with you. Sometimes you recreational use, but sometimes dudes really want to build. So you got, like, I think everybody got to always bring their best foot forward. Stop going into it unintentionally, because that's the problem. The problem is, like, y'all say y'all want something, but when y'all get it, and this is men and women, y'all want something, and then when y'all get it, y'all don't want to keep it. There's one thing that happens, and then y'all like, man, I'm good. When you get to a certain age, I'm not saying just deal with anything. When you get to a certain age, you gotta have a level of understanding where it's like sometimes things not gonna work out the way you want it to work out. Huh? Sometimes things ain't gonna work out the way you want things to work out. You know what I mean? And I get that. I understand that. But you still you still should behave like an adult. The toxic relationships, they really kill me because people go off of that and be like, oh well, everybody's like this and everybody, you know what I mean, the cheating thing or whatever. I think we need to understand more. I think we need more spaces. I think they need to continue to saturate the internet or whatever they have with people talking about what it really is, like, because I think this that stupid misconception that it's okay to accept mediocrity when you've been used to filet mignon lifestyle. And if a woman is used to a filet mignon lifestyle and she a damn Whopper patty nigga, then she don't deserve no filet mignon lifestyle. She gotta come with it. Either she gotta make herself look the part, or she gotta behave a certain type of way that's gonna be appealing, or she has to accept less. She has to accept less because she's not worth whatever. And unfortunately, I know a lot of women don't like to hear that shit, but if you got a whole bunch of kids, you could date. Cause like I'm not really against it, but you got slim pickings. The dudes that's gonna deal with you is a simp or a trick. You're not getting a dude that really feel you like that. So yeah, she definitely recreational use it. She got mad kids, but she just got one kid. Sometimes dudes really be with it. You know what I mean? They could get around that. And I don't even like using myself as an example, but I'm even using myself. Like I feel like that because I for a long time was like, nah, like not at all. But it depends on the circumstances, depends on the situation, depends on how prepared you are as a man. And you know, I'm not necessarily broke. Sometimes I don't have it, but I'll have it in a few days. So it's like situations like that. I'm the type of person that probably could deal with a woman that whether she has money or she doesn't. But then when we talking about you gotta have private jet money, or you gotta have this money, you gotta have that. Yeah, I might not have that, but I could take a private jet flight. Everybody could if y'all know what you don't know. You know what I mean? But it's certain experiences in life that I don't really care to experience. You know what I mean? And I'm fine with not experiencing certain things right now, or some things never really experiencing that. One thing I probably do want in the future, maybe I do want to get married. I'm saying maybe because it's all about behavior. How do you behave that you with? You know what I mean? And I say that in a relationship. Like if you behave a certain way, you're going to get that. And then a lot of times it's like, how long am I supposed to behave like this? Well, there was a conversation was do women mind being wifey material before being a wifey? And yeah, they do mind. And I'm like, well, why do you want a guy to be hubby material and he's not that? I don't even think that's fair.
Yeah, now that should be whatever each person is bringing to the relationship. It should be 100%. You should be bringing your best self. Both of you men look for different things in a relationship than a woman does, but you both should be bringing 100% of what you're of effort. Each person. There are different things, but you should be bringing everything that you got into that relationship if you're really trying to get. And I think a lot of women are selfish, and they only be. Some men are selfish too, but a lot of women are selfish, and they they only be thinking about what they want and not considering what the man is looking for, and they don't try to.
Some of these moms don't know how to be wives themselves.
That I don't think that's true. I think you can learn later on in life. I think, but you have to go through experiences to get there, and men have to tell you if you're in a relationship and you're doing something wrong or that they don't like or whatever. Then they have to be vocal about it. And I think a lot of times men don't say what's wrong. They'll just stop dealing with you, and then the woman continues behaving the same way, not realize. And there are some women that, yeah, I agree with you, but I don't think that that's true overall. I think it depends on the woman. You have to be willing to be taught.
Somebody's had talks with these women sometimes. Like, they're just stubborn and not willing to change. And then you just gotta remove yourself from that situation. Let them be alone. And it's the reason that they're alone. It's the reason that they have 7 kids. It's the reason that the baby father isn't with them. You don't know what that reason is. You're just gonna accept whatever she says because a lot of times you just gonna do what you gotta do to get what you want. Sometimes that means believing her bullshit, but sometimes it's bullshit. I'm gonna read this. If you're not taught that it's a wife's duty to serve her husband, she won't learn those behaviors. It's a belief system, not just a choice she makes.
I agree with you, but I still think that depends on the woman because there are some women that weren't taught that or that wasn't shown, but they figured it out. Like I said, from past experience, or now they have all these podcasts where men are talking about what makes a woman a wife, and if you want to be that some women are willing to change themselves, and once you start behaving a certain way over time, then it becomes a belief because it becomes a habit after a certain period of time. So I think that still depends on the woman, but I'll say most women, yes, if they weren't taught that, then they're not going to be. They're going to be like how they were raised to be.
Well, let's not delay it any longer. So Big Tigger in a whole situation. You remember Big Tigger from Rap City, the basement. You know, they would go to his basement. They have freestyles. They had some of the best freestyles on BET in Big Tigger's basement from some industry rappers who you didn't know had bars sometimes. You know what I'm getting at? So shout out to Big Tigger for that experience. Being a cornerstone of hip hop. But then let's get right to the drama. So this is what we're talking about knowing how to be a wife or whatever. Big Tigger's wife was originally with somebody else. She was somebody else's ex-wife.
That's his wife? Or I thought it was his
wife,
baby mom.
That became somebody else's ex-wife. And then now it might be his ex-wife. I don't know. But then the funny thing, like, you know, the skits that they're making about it, and then Mr. Tigger, like that was so.
You gotta play the clip.
Play it.
I think you had it. Keep going while I find it.
So
we talked about this last week, but we didn't see the full video. Now the video came out.
This is new development information that we talking about too.
Yeah.
So we did talk about the whole thing. We did have the video. We got the video, and people have been making skits of it.
Skin bone.
So there's one because the kid referred to Tigger as Mr. Tigger.
Was that a kid or an adult?
Whoever it was, they called him Mr. Tigger. It was a male. Called him Mr. Tigger. It was kind of funny. And then you see him like rolling around on the floor, like kind of like well, he wasn't really rolling on the floor, but it was just crazy because it's like, what's she doing with the phone? What is she doing? And you could see she was being extra.
Yeah, that she ain't start crying till that other person came, and excuse me, she didn't start crying till that other person came and was like, "Mr. Tigger, you're stepping on her. Look at, here we go. Found it.
You not see Autumn cry? I'm not doing it. Bro, you're literally stepping on her. I'm not stepping on her, Alex. I just told her. She can give me the phone in the bill. She
phone in with you. No, just get over it. She's gonna give you. I'm not on her at all. Give me my phone. Get off of me. Give me my phone. See, if I was anybody else, you would be doing this shit. Bro, just get off her. Mr. Tigger! Mr. Tigger, get off of her now!
This is not funny, but it looked like a skit because it looks like a skit.
Get off my phone. Do you not see?
I know it really happened, but just the way she's acting like, oh, you what did she do? Because she just started crying.
There was like flop memes like with LeBron James because it was like saying she was flopping.
Oh, he be doing that trying to get a foul.
Yeah, like that's what she was doing. She was trying to get a foul. You know what I mean? If it looked like a skit, you know it's some bull. Right.
Cause she ain't start crying till they went the other. And why is they call him Tigger? You call him that? You don't know, but the lady calling him that too. You don't call him by his
real name. Call you by your nickname if they really cool with you. You know, like again, a lot of things that I see, is not so much relatable to the way that I have experienced certain things, and not making it seem like I'm that guy sometimes. But what I will say is that my experiences are widely different than a lot of these experiences. I don't tolerate a lot of stuff, but then again, I work. I take care of myself. I do things I need to do. I look a little crazy right now, and my hair is not combed out and whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever, but I like to just relax and not have to do all that extra stuff until it's time to actually do the extra stuff. But you know,
this sounds like this should be on a dating site.
When you're dealing with people, you have to understand some of the disadvantages that person has when you're going into that relationship. And you know what your disadvantage is. Don't just make it like this person is lucky to be with you or whatever. But you need to know what you're getting involved in so that you don't end up, okay, don't take my phone. Like you should say in the beginning, don't take my phone. It's sensitive things on my phone. It might not be girls' names or phone numbers or something like that or text messages, but it might be documents. It might be like for me, I just created my own AI. So I created a demo of it, a working demo to see what it's gonna look like and whatever. So I created my own AI, artificial intelligence or whatever. So I like to implement that, and it has to be broken down into phases because I'm gonna have to use multiple AI platforms in order to create this this tool or whatever. And I'll be able to use this tool in any way I want to use it. I can take the mind and put it into some type of other electronic device, be controlled that way. It could just be web-based, it could be IP. You know, there's all different types of ways that it could be shown, whatever, I'm nerding. But that's basically an expectation that I would have set because I'm doing all of the steps that I need to take in order to create something. That's the same thing. Like if you want to be in a healthy relationship, you have to take the steps that it takes to create that. You know what I mean? These dating, when you go on a date, sometimes you go on a date, you smash. That shouldn't mean that y'all not gonna talk anymore. That shouldn't mean that y'all gonna get married. But it should mean that you guys have mutually accepted the that outcome. You know what I mean? She was good with it. I was good with it. It is what it is. We didn't complicate it by saying whatever. Now, if we did complicate it by saying whatever, it's understood. This is what it is. So we go together, right? If that's how y'all do. You know what I mean? And then they be like, nah, we just friends. You know, that might destroy your world. But how you just gave it up and y'all more than friends. You know what I mean? Like there has to be a clear understanding of what's being established and a clear understanding of what it looks like. Are we having fun? What do you want? And a lot of times when you're talking about the age gap thing, you're talking about a person that might not have the mindset to deal with that. If you're talking about somebody that's pregnant or somebody that has children, you're talking about someone that already has more that they're dealing with than what you have to deal with sometimes, and then you have to take on that. You might not have to take on that responsibility, but I would just assume that you probably be taking on that responsibility to flip flop a guy that has children. You know what I mean? The woman doesn't have any kids. How do you deal with that dynamic? Are you going to get the attention that you need? Because you need emotional balance. You need someone to be there for you emotionally as well as physically and all these other things. So if you're not getting the attention, are you able to accept that, okay, this guy has children? Because the guy is dealing with a woman that has kids, he has to understand, okay, she has kids, whatever. That's why they have a stigma against can they date. They could date is whatever the fuck. They can do whatever the fuck they want. It's up to you. But then the leader in that situation, the guy, is he failing or is he doing the shit the way that he's supposed to fucking do it? Like that's, you know what I mean? What I've been talking about all night. Are these leaders leading the right way? And when they fail, what's the consequence of their failure? So we gotta like mitigate failed leadership. You know what I mean? And taking more accountability and fixing where you failed at to become better because you affect everybody else. You know what I mean?
They said Big Tigger. Big Tigger did an interview. He's talking about it.
Was he wrong?
Back at work, over the past several days, there's been significant public discussion and speculation regarding my personal life. I understand this can happen being a public person. I've been doing radio now 32 years, television for 29. I appreciate first and foremost the support and concern that so many people have shown. I want to say categorically, these allegations and accusations that have been circulating about me are false, untrue, not happening, didn't happen. Additionally, it's important to clarify that Francesca and I have never been anything more than friends and respected colleagues.
That was cool.
I'd like to apologize to you, Francesca, for the impact of these last few days or this last week. I hope you accept my apology. Out of respect for everyone involved, I ask for grace, privacy, and restraint as my family navigates this difficult moment. For more than 30 years, I've had the privilege of serving this in many communities through music, entertainment, and connection. I remain grateful for the trust so many of you have placed in me throughout that journey, and I intend to continue living and leading in that manner, worthy of that trust. And to all the people who have either quietly or loudly stood up and stood 10 toes for me, I appreciate it. The people who have reached out to check on me, I appreciate you. No names.
He ain't saying nothing about. I was trying to find because they're alleging also that her kid was kidnapped. Well, she had reported her kid kidnapped. Her baby father. Here's something. Was arrested.
What's up, bro? Let's talk about it. Talk about what? Karma. God. Whatever you want to call it, he is always working. God, the higher power, whatever you believe in. We talk about higher power in that here. He's always working, and now he's working on Big Tigger's situation. His wife soon to be ex-wife is already got locked up for kidnapping. And I ain't know about this case where apparently she accused the man of raping her, and now he wants that reviewed, and I bet there's some suspicious evidence in that. It says in Romans 12:19, do not take vengeance, leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, Meaning, whatever you doing out there, that's demonic. God got another story written, and he's coming for him. Their Tigger will be vindicated. What do y'all think? Did she lie? Talk to me in the comments. Let's go.
Well, dang, but it says mother of Ramon Joyner's son wants his case, so I guess her son's name is Ramon Joyner. Wants the case revisited after a viral Big Tigger video. He has been locked up for 11 years. So that's Big Tigger's wife, baby father, was locked up for 11 years because she accused him of rape. And he always said she was lying. He always maintained his innocence. And she changed her stories a bunch of times. And there's also a kid that's missing. She had a daughter. The daughter is missing. She's accused Big Tigger of kidnapping the daughter or something like that. And then there's something that said she had another daughter and named the daughter the same name as the daughter that's missing to try to cover it up. Now this girl is grown now. When she went missing, she was a kid, but she would be an adult at this point. And they never talked about her again. You never heard nothing about her, but she was reported missing at one point. So this woman has all these other allegations. She accused somebody else of rape, and he's saying that she's lying. But of course, what else would you say? You're not gonna say, yeah, she's telling the truth if you did do it. But maybe she is lying because from that performance, how she just threw herself on the floor and just started screaming as soon as the other person said something. Yeah, like so. I believe that she made it up. But I hold justice is served. If the kid was kidnapped, I hope they find the kid, and she needs to be in jail if she's sitting up here making up all these lies, ruining people's lives. It's a shame. I don't know what's wrong with these women.
Losing hope. A single mother reportedly turned 40 cents into more than 42 million at a slot machine. This was in New York, actually. But walked away with nothing. They offered her $2.50 and a steak dinner instead of at least giving her the maximum payout, which was like $6,600 or something like that.
And here we go. Why is it just playing music? This is not even raining. Why would this old stuff just be now popular?
Katrina Bookman had just won $43 million on a New York City slot machine. All of her dreams were about to come true. However, the casino had other ideas. Legal battles ensued, and the word malfunction quickly became Katrina's least favorite word of all time. When Katrina Bookman walked into the Resorts World Casino in Jamaica, Queens, New York City, she planned to play a cheap game to blow off a little steam. She avoided the more expensive machines like that megabuck slots with a $100 minimum to play. Instead, she went and found a relatively inexpensive penny slot machine, the Sphinx Wild. Katrina put her pennies in and played to win. While all gamblers dream of winning big, few truly believe it will ever happen. Besides, how can you be sure about a luck-based game? This probably made it all the more astonishing to her and her partner when they won. Instead of the standard payout, a different message popped up. Printing cash ticket, $42,949,672. Please remove ticket. Katrina later told interviewers that she couldn't help making plans with the money then and there. She even mentally put aside $1 million to make her son's dream of owning a barbershop come true. Katrina's dreams were brought to an abrupt end when casino managers ushered her off the gambling floor. Of course, as anyone would, she asked about her winnings. The casino told her to come back tomorrow for the official ruling. The only thing she expected to hear was, "Here are your winnings, Miss Bookman." Instead, she got a vague answer and was sent home with the terminology official ruling being used. And it was clear that the winnings were in question, which could not have been easy for Katrina. The would-be millionaire told interviewers that she grew up very poor and bounced around foster homes and was even homeless for a time. She also raised 4 children as a single mother, so the struggle is something she knows. Poor Katrina must have felt as if she'd been saved from all her struggles. She was quoted as saying, "I kept thinking about my family, the struggle I've been through. It's hard to cope." She knew that she was about to change her family's destiny, but it was all called into question. It must have been hard to sleep that night as she thought about her winnings. Judging from the pictures she took before the ticket finished printing, it's safe to assume that she told multiple people. She more than likely called her family and told them that she would make all their dreams come true. The thought of letting them all down would have been a hefty burden to bear. You are guaranteed a payout if you win a game in a casino, right? Well, this is not actually the case.
It's not the case.
There are quite a few situations when a casino can withhold your winnings and send you out empty-handed. The first and seemingly most simple one is if you do not have a valid ID. Before a casino gives you any money, they have to run a check on you and can't if you don't have identification. The second can happen when they run your name through the GIP to see if you owe any money to the government. If you're flagged in the system, then your earnings go towards your debt. The last and most relevant one to our story is if a slot machine malfunctions. While it may seem unfair to the would-be winners, casinos are not obligated to pay due to some business-friendly laws. Unsure of what would happen, but determined to get her winnings, Katrina went back to the Resorts World Casino and spoke to a representative. She knew something was wrong, but wasn't ready for the news she was about to receive. When she asked the rep, "What did I win?" he responded, "You did not win nothing." At the very least, it seemed like an inappropriate double negative, and at worst, it crushed her dreams. This realization was like a slap in the face to Katrina. Her ideas of salvation were snatched away in an instant. In her mind, the casino had taken away her power to make her family's dreams come true. This loss had to have been devastating for the single mother of 4. The rep told her that instead of the $43 million she thought she won, her spin was actually worth $2.25. She went from plans on buying whatever she wanted to plans on buying a dollar menu burger. She also said that they offered her a free steak dinner, which was like adding insult to injury. Katrina couldn't believe what she was told and refused any offers on the casino's fire. She left without any winnings that day, but she was not done yet. Katrina was going to contact a lawyer and see if she had a case to sue the casino. The casino seems like a bully at first glance, but with even a minor glance at their side of things, it becomes easy.
She won 42 mil over that, and they tried to give her $2. Well, she got a lawyer. I don't know what happened. Well, no, if it's a case like that, they'll just take the money at the end when you win the case. Some lawyers will be like, if you lose, then you don't have to pay nothing. If you win, because if they did, they got a good shot. Then when you win, you pay. But if it's a good case, that is a good case, because that's one. But then legally, they can be like it malfunctioned or whatever. But how do you prove that the machine malfunctioned? And they're talking about you need ID. Well, I guess you do need an ID to go into the casino. But it's not like they scan your ID at the machine. You just put your money in and start playing once you inside. Now you like, I need, because you think somebody trying to steal somebody else's earnings? I don't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense for you to identify yourself, but shit, I identified myself when I got into the casino. You just trying to find reasons to not give me the money. Then they say if you owe debt, they just gonna automatically send the money to where you owe money to. That's crazy. This is America.
Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna say like this before I say what the topic is. But do you agree with parenting in the other household if you co-parent? Like making rules for the kid, like you can't go to sleep after 9 o'clock, and the father might let him go to sleep at 10.
I mean, you can't. I think you should try to agree on something, but if you can't, and the other parent is around and they're spending the night at the other parent's house, then you really can't tell them what to do. You can try to agree on it, but if you can't, then that's it. You're not together. As long as they're not abusing the child or doing nothing, certain stuff, you're just gonna have to accept it because that's what comes when you don't stay together with the father of your child or the mother.
Right, so let's just say this is case by case because I could think of some instances where you probably wouldn't want the kid to be doing certain things. Like, say if you got your child on a specific diet that his nutritionist recommended, and you're like, he cannot eat this after this time according to his doctor, and the father wants to be the better parent, and you're like, yeah, we gotta have to get that.
Well, I think if you then you pick the wrong parent of the parent. If they don't want the best interest, because if the doctor is saying that's which doctors are not always right. I'm just biased about that. But if the other parent should want what's best for them, they should want them to be in their best health. So you should be able to agree on that. But again, if you can't, what are you going to do? Because you're gonna stop them from seeing them. You could do that. Some parents.
You could say that he's in danger to the child.
If it's like a deathly thing, but again, who the heck are you having a kid by that would want that? They should be on board with that.
I use the extreme because making rules and somebody, you would obviously believe that he probably don't always give him a piece of candy and maybe give him a candy once, whatever, and it wasn't a big deal. And he talked to the doctor, and the doctor said that, it could be in moderation, don't do it all the time, don't always, and mom never did this or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, well, I want my kids to enjoy a regular kid's life or something like that. You don't get to all that shit. But it has to be logic, and it has to be practical. If it means that it goes against the safety and the well-being of the child at that expense, then hell no. Like, he's fucking crazy, psychopath. You know what I mean? If not like that, then I think let the father do what he do in his household, and you do what you do in your household, as long as it's no detriment to the child. But the reason I brought that up is because there's another story I thought was another one about a crazy situation with family. A mother refuses to let her son visit his father's house to play PlayStation 5 unless he also plays with her other children. Fear parenting or controlling behavior.
Yeah, so when the kid goes to the father house, they're always talking about, oh, I was playing a game, the game is so fun, blah, 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 whatever. The mom is retarded because because you had multiple children, that's not the kid's fault. They shouldn't have to suffer because their father is involved and the other kid's father isn't, or is not doing the same thing. Playing a video game, I don't think you should be like, the video game is not in your house. So you can't tell, like, if he's playing the video game at the father's house, then that's it. He's playing over there. He don't have kids, but y'all got one kid together. The other kids have another father or different fathers. So that's your fault. So you got to deal with it. And I feel like she's punishing the kid because she got to deal with, hearing the other. And I get it. The other kids are probably upset and they don't understand. So that's another thing. That's your fault because you had multiple children in broken homes for whatever reason. You not with the fathers no more. So this is things that happen. But I don't think you should make one of the other kids' experience with their parent worse or less enjoyable because you got to deal with the other kids being without. Then work hard and get a video game so the other kids could play it if it's that important to you. If not, then I don't think you should be like, oh, he can't play the game, or you're gonna stop him from going to his father's house because he's playing the game over there and the other kids are not able to play like that because you don't want to hear them complaining about it. That's your fault. Nobody told you to have all them kids. Use protection when you having sex.
Keep the babies off the street. Yeah, don't dig.
Right. Keep the babies out the street.
Yo, I feel so bad for kids in situations like that. Like, because if I play the game, you know.
Wait, hold on. I was trying to find the clip. I found. Hold on. I was trying to find the clip. I found. Hold on. I was trying to find the clip. I found. Now it's. Oh my gosh. Hold on, people. Sorry. Now I think I'm pissed. She just ratchet. I don't know.
My son has a PS5.
Tell me you are an unfit parent without telling me you are an unfit parent. Viewer discretion is advised.
At his dad's house. I told him that he needs to go ahead and bring the console over here to share with his 6 siblings. If not, he's not allowed to go see his dad anymore.
So the father of one of your children has a PS5 for that one kid at his house, and you tell that kid, hey, if you can't bring that PS5 over here, you can't see your father at all. Not that, hey, you can't go play the PS5, but you can't see him at all based on the fact that you get to play the PS5 at his house. How the fuck does that make sense?
My son goes to his dad's house every weekend, and every time he comes back, he's always talking about, oh, this is what I played on the PS5, and this is what I did, and blah, blah, blah. And his siblings here do not have that. And to me, I don't think it's fair. So
No. What's not fair is that you laid down and had multiple kids with multiple men and did not put yourself in position for all of them to be able to enjoy the PS5. What's also not fair is how you're actually threatening this child from spending time with their father because they're simply enjoying a gaming console that you didn't pay for. What is in fact also not fair is how you put the child in a tough position and force him to make a decision on being cool with you ultimately as their mother, or being able to go spend time with their father and play something that they thoroughly enjoy.
This is the dumb
When I say
bitches
some
that
of y'all
try to
don't
knock
deserve
him up.
children, this is exactly what I mean.
I told him that if he wants to continue seeing his father, he needs to grab that PS5, bring it over here so his brothers and sisters can play with him. It's not fair that we here cannot afford it, but your dad can. That's not fair.
Who is we? Who's the we that you speak of? Because the only person that can't afford it is you. Those children do not have the expectation or the burden of having to pay for anything. The only person that can afford it is you, and you can't afford it because you're lazy. Now, that young boy's father, on the other hand, can afford it because he knew better than to walk around having multiple kids by multiple women because children cost money. Unlike you that decided to have no pussy management, no time management, no money management, and decided to lay down and have multiple kids with multiple men, knowing you are not in a financial space to even afford a PS5. And instead of taking accountability for all the poor decisions you've made, which ultimately puts your children in a position to not be able to enjoy a PS5, you blame everyone else. So much so that you'd rather put your child in a really uncomfortable position and force them to choose between having peace at home with you and being able to see their own father.
And if I told him if he doesn't want to bring it over here, then he needs to go ahead and trash that PS5 because it's not fair that he has a gaming console and his other brothers and sisters don't. I told my son, next time you leave your dad's house, you make sure you pack that PS5 in your bag. And if you don't, we are going to have problems. There's going to be consequences for you not bringing it home.
And she said it's gonna be consequences if you don't.
So you're gonna bother them pay for that. Do that.
She put it on the internet. She needs to speak. That is messed up. Like she's retarded. Like this is what
like
and
yeah,
and women be keeping the. They be doing that. Like if the man has a girlfriend, he moved on, he got a girlfriend. They be doing that too. They don't want. You can't control. It's some things you can't control. You just gotta hope that you found a guy that's not gonna let another woman abuse their kid or whatever they get. But you can't. You don't. You give that up. The choice to dictate what goes on in that household when you're no longer in a relationship with the other parent. So you just got to deal with it. Like I said, unless it's like a life or death, they're putting them in danger or something like that. But if it's not that, then you just got to deal with it. And that's not the way you deal with it, by making him unhappy because you're miserable because you can't, because the other kids are upset because of what's going on. Then you need to get a PS5 for the house. He's not responsible for them other kids because he's not with you. He's responsible for the one that you and him made together.
Yeah, that's definitely tough. There's a story that we skipped over, and I did it on purpose because I think that deserves a little more attention as the being. The final topic is placed earlier. I think that's something we should take more time to talk about to give the respect it deserves. But 7 years after Nipsey Hussle's passing, his children finally received their inheritance from his estate. What does this mean for his legacy?
What does it mean?
Oh, you don't want to answer it?
I want to.
I think generational wealth is going to be a good amount of money. I think they said somewhere, and don't quote me, but if you want to know, I think they said like 35 million. His brother multiplied the amount from what it was. Black Sam, I think his name is, and was able to get it up to that amount. So it's going to be split between the daughter and the son. And
it's a total of 35 million. They're going to split it between.
And the daughter's going to be able to access it first. So that's what I'm saying.
That's great, because from what I hear about other celebrities, a lot of times when a celebrity passes away, a rapper, specifically in the music industry, they have a hard time getting, because the record label be having like they be having life insurance on them and stuff like that, and then they be trying to keep all of their, so they be having to go to court and stuff and fight to get the money that's due to the family. Like if they got a will or something, they'll create a separate one. I've heard that's what they do. So that's good that they were able to get that money, and hopefully they, their life has been good so far. They're still young, but hopefully that'll help them to, to thrive, and they can provide a great lifestyle for their kids. And hopefully they were taught the proper values and everything, so they're a reputable member of society. Rest in peace, Nipsey.
All right. Latest discussion surrounding Nolan Wells' deletion investigation in Mississippi. 18-year-old young man that was on a boating trip with 3 other young men, not of color, and they ended up finding him washed up on shore days after. There's a lot of things surrounding this situation. There's things that implicate foul play. We got audio. We're just trying to see what's going to happen in this situation. Some celebrities and hip hop artists have already agreed to contribute to the funeral services and the autopsy.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome.
I have a clip just for.
A teenager whose body was found off the coast of Mississippi is calling for a thorough investigation into their son's death. 18-year-old Nolan Wells had gone on a boat trip to a nearby island with friends during the July 4th weekend, but did not return with them. He was the only black teenager among a group of white friends. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office says no foul play is suspected, but is calling for any witnesses to come forward. At a press conference today, civil rights attorney Ben Crump said the facts of the case are not adding up, as the mother of Nolan Wells asked for answers.
We're going to make sure that we get to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because Nolan deserves it.
We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home.
An official autopsy has been conducted, though it could be weeks before results are released. Police say the friends who were on the island with Wells are cooperating with the investigation. Support journalism you trust.
Yeah, so prayers go out to that family. Again, I'm tired of saying it because it's crazy. Every time we turn around, another person, and it's like, do you even feel it anymore at some point? Because like it's so much loss. It's like this, like it's just crazy. Like I don't know, but I hope they get to the bottom of it. My prayers go out to that family. And I hope they get through it and justice is served.
Yeah, I mean,
and for him to be comfortable around, like, because typically, and I don't know where he's from, but typically, depending on where you're from, you would have to feel comfortable to be the only white you chose to, yeah. So like he felt comfortable. He felt comfortable around those kids, even though he was the only black boy. And a lot of people feel uncomfortable, maybe not uncomfortable. They'll be in a situation, but it's a clear, like, it's different than being amongst your everyone that's the same skin color. Yeah. So did he considered them really his friends? So I don't
swim. He was on that boat. Like that's crazy. So like that. And then like go out further into the water. Like there was a stress there where it was like, I got you. I'm not gonna let you drown or whatever. And you being in a situation like that, you definitely gonna panic. Like myself, I can't swim. Man, I'm not gonna rely on, you know, everyone's like, come on, just come further around. I'm not gonna let you drown. Girl, you is not strong. I'm not about to be out there messing around with you.
Yeah, because maybe it was just an accident. Because we always jump to like they did, because I think that's what everyone's thinking, like the kids. Yeah, but maybe it was.
Why? I'm not taking that risk with some amateur swimmer. I've been swimming all my life. Go to the beach every 5 years. Like, what?
I mean, you should know how to swim if you're gonna be getting in the water, but he trusted them, so I don't know. Like maybe he fell in, maybe they wasn't strong enough to get him, or I don't know. But maybe you should stay away from the water if you can't swim, or put on floaties or something. But regardless, it's sad that happened.
This is scary. To me, the fear is that when you have children, you have to worry about who your kids are around. You gotta make sure that the kids that you know that they're around, you know their parents are cool, you're cool with their parents. Because once you tell your kid, look, I don't want you around these kids because I don't like their parents and I don't want them doing something because I told you. Then they be around because kids gonna still, that's my friend. Everybody's your friend. And I used to, always think like, why my mother always tells me everybody not your friend? Because it's true. Like, I guess you can't really label everybody your friend. You can have people that you know or you associate with, but sometimes those people have conflicts with themselves, and you adopt those conflicts when you start claiming to be in your circle because you're guilty by association. So it's like, I don't want to be guilty by association. You know what I mean? And if if this person is like a person that I can't trust when I'm asleep or something, I'm not gonna be around that person like that. Only around for a little bit. If it's like if it has to be for like business or athletics or something like that. But other than that,
I wouldn't want to be around nobody that I can't trust when I sleep either. They might do something when I'm awake, even regardless if it's business or whatever. Because I can't. If I don't trust you. Period. If that's the case, like. But he obviously did reach those he considered them really his friends. So. I hope it was just an accident and they didn't. And then you know what? Sometimes accidents happen and then people panic, especially kids and stuff like that, or even adults. They panic and they think of like all the things that's gonna happen. They're gonna get blamed for it, and they try to cover it up, and then that
there
makes
was
it
a
even
movie
worse.
like that. There was this kid, I forgot the name of the movie, but it was this kid, he was a little slow. He went on a trip with these kids, said they were going fishing. There was one girl with him, and everybody was in on it. Parents was covering it up and everything. And then finally the mom found out what was going on, and they had business with the kid because one of the kids got away, and they ended up getting a firearm, shooting the kid or stabbing the kid or something. And then they had the other kid was in the house, and oh my god, that movie was so intense. But it was like basically like the parent trying to protect the kid from doing something that they should have done instead of correcting that behavior and punishing them, whatever that punishment was. But they gotta continue to do it if you don't tell them that this is wrong. I gotta remember what that movie was. I'm on the section with and my buddy for a while.
Not buddy. Wherever I go, he goes. Not buddy. My buddy. You can run for your life, but I'm gonna stick him out the window.
Hey, what's the movie where the kids tried to cover up something, and there was these other kids that were there was these adults that were in the woods, and they had a tent or something, and the kids came out and they harassed them, and then they did this like dangerous game of life and deletion. What was the name of this movie? If you can help me recall.
Okay, so a couple possibilities come to mind, but the closest fit might be Eden Lake. And that's where a couple of camps in the woods and they get terrorized by local teens. Does that sound right?
Was that the movie that had the actor that plays Magneto?
Let me double check that. Yes, that is him.
Oh, yeah, that's the movie. Yep.
I never seen it.
Nice. Eden Lake. Yeah, he stars in it. He and his girlfriend go on a camping trip, run into some local teens, and things get out of control.
It sounds good.
All right, thank you so much. We're live right now. We'll let you go.
I think I seen the trailer, seen it on Amazon in the options, but I never watched it. Nala, you be cutting up.
Well, yeah, man. That movie, Eden Lake, man. Check that movie out. It's not a recent movie. It came out some years ago, but it's a really good movie, man. Friday night movie. You ain't got nothing to do. Check that movie out. Keep your toes. Crazy experience. But the whole point is like these kids are like excuse me, children of the corn type. You know what I mean? Like they just like backwoods type of kid. And, um, they just freak out. But for some reason, it's kids that's against it, but one kid is so put so much fear into the other kids that they still like gotta follow it. You know what I mean? Like kids get together and take the kid down and call the cops. It's other parents. You know what I mean? But you keep getting what Samuel Jackson said, you know, slid down a razor blade and
alcohol river.
You know? But yeah. But just saying, like you think these kids, you know, horseplay gets out of hand, accidents do happen. Why do you think adults put all these rules in place to protect you? Because it's not that they want to protect your style or they don't want you to have a good time or they don't want you to have fun. It's because they don't want something unsafe that can happen that you can't take back. And the lesson here has to be kids being taught to do the right thing. Some kid has to say, come on, guys, cut it out. That's enough. Somebody got to have the cojones to do that.
The cojones.
That's a sad situation. But I'm happy to hear that so many people are trying to contribute and trying to help out the best that they can with this family. I mean, I wish it was a way that like nobody never had issues with, and just to have a lighter side of the situation. I wish there was a way that people would have no issues with people's demise. Like they can everything can be taken care of. Everybody can get the care that they need. They can get the right uh, burial, and headstone, and so forth. Because it's rough. Like if you don't again establish certain values early, because then you just trying to figure everything out on the fly. Like, you know what I mean? It makes it more difficult. You got anything else?
No, I didn't have one. And that was the last.
Well, um, there are some other like side questions we could expound on if you want to. Are relationships surviving in today's culture?
What are the stats? What's the divorce rate?
Well, just from your visual, from your perspective, what you hear, what you see.
I hear that the divorce rate is low, which means people is not staying together, and people are not even people don't even want to get married or don't even want relationships. So if you're not in relationships, how is it gonna last if you're not together? So I think people have given up because of trauma, because they've been hurt, because they've hurt they've hurt people, because they've done too much. Now, no, traditional or societal norms are not good enough. Sometimes it just depends on who you ask. But the answer is no. I don't think they're lasting because people that are married the divorce rate is high, and then the single people don't. There's a lot of people that are not wanting to get in relationships for different reasons. Guys don't want to get married because they're afraid they're gonna get divorced, and then she's gonna take them. If that happens, they don't have faith in themselves or in that the union that it will last. To then they're worried about she gonna try to take them to court and put them on child support. Then they can't see they. So men are afraid for that, and women are afraid of getting cheated on, and just different things. And some people just got so used to being by themselves that they're okay with that. They're not seeking companionship. So no, I don't think they're lasting because a lot of people don't even want. They might want. Um, they might want to have, experiences with the opposite sex, but I don't think people value commitment anymore the way that they once did. So they just want to have moments and then go back to being by themselves. They don't care about being a girlfriend or a boyfriend or this year woman, this year man, or husband or wife. That's not the goal anymore. I think that's this time that we're living in has transformed into that. It's no longer a priority. It's hard to find people to connect with, and people are done looking, and they just want to enjoy the time that they have on earth, and the relationship can be stressful. So some people don't want to deal with that. So they just.
Has social media made betrayal easier to expose?
I mean, I don't think it made it easier, but it made people want to. Like, they put everything online. So it's like, it's nothing like, oh, I'm going to post this on the internet, share your news, record when I catch you. Now they got all these loyalty tests on YouTube and stuff like that. I don't know if those are real or whatever. These pages where they be doing the loyalty test to try to catch your partner cheating or whatever. Like, it makes it like it's incentivized now, so people are trying to find reasons just to go viral, and that's become one of them. But I think it would get exposed anyway. I mean, it would just be exposed differently. Probably would be exposed in your area or where you are if you're running outside or something happened in the neighborhood and people could see it, but the whole world wouldn't know about it. Now, because we have access to the internet and social media, we can see what's going on in California and in another country, in Dubai.
So then that is easier than by the definition of that is the outreach, how quickly you can access it. I mean, it is different, but it seems like it's more easier because it's more acceptable. Just my own stuff.
People need to learn that some stuff is okay to be private, okay? You don't have to post your whole life online. Cut that out. It's not everybody's business what's going on in your home, whether it's good or bad. And sometimes you block your blessings. You post stuff online, people be hating really and wishing bad on you, and then that bad energy. I believe in energy and stuff. I think that could make stuff go wrong. What'd you say?
The money things. Is the justice system becoming more transparent or more complicated?
Complicated how?
Well, in correlation to transparency. So do you think it is
Well, the laws are what they are, but I've just
they're being more forthcoming with things. They're
the
letting
law.
you know what's going on, or do you feel like they're trying to find reasons to not make it transparent? Like we can't tell you about this.
Well, they always hide stuff
This
from us.
is
But
not, you're not necessarily guilty of this because they did this, and the cops are actually able to do this, and so.
well, the laws are what they are. They don't always follow them, or sometimes it looks like it's skewed in one direction. But the laws are what those that's public information. You can look up if you believe what they put in all the books and stuff or online or whatever. You can find that information. Now, whether it goes along with each individual case, we question that all the time because sometimes it seems like they're doing what they want, and the judge does have the final say, but they still have to go by the guidelines. And usually, it's within that, and then we think like there's another ulterior motive, but we often can't prove that. Because if we were able to prove that, then we wouldn't feel the way that we did. That those situations where we have those thoughts wouldn't happen. Because the justice that we feel should be served will be gotten served. So I think that they are being transparent when it comes to things like that. And then they hide stuff from us, but like about aliens and stuff like that. I don't know. They said that aliens were real, but they didn't know that aliens were real, and I feel like they only told us now because it's going to end up affecting us soon. And I think that's when they let us know about world changing events and stuff when they don't have a choice. Where it's like it's about to happen, you're in imminent danger, possibly, or this is gonna change your life as you know it or whatever. So we gotta let you know now. But
Are parents protecting their children or creating unnecessary conflict?
protecting them when you have to have context for that.
Are parents
Protecting them for what?
protecting their children or creating unnecessary conflict? So just thinking about examples of things we talked about today. Would you say parents are protecting their children or are they creating unnecessary conflicts? Let's use an example of
you're creating unnecessary conflict when you tell your son that he can't see his father anymore, that he's gonna be in trouble if he don't put his PlayStation 5 in his book bag and bring it home to you, that his father bought him, bring it home to you so he could play it with his other siblings. Like, no, that's creating unnecessary conflict because there's nothing to. I mean, I guess you could say what video games is he playing? Because I do agree with media and stuff like that. They should be exposed to certain things depending on what age they are. But outside of that, if he's playing a video game, if he's being monitored while he's playing, maybe his father plays with him. I don't see nothing wrong with that, and it's only on the weekend, not like that's actually better because I don't think that a growing kid, should be sitting in front of a game 24/7 because you're developing, and that's like you need to experience life and other things. You got to go to school or get some type of education, whether it's homeschool or in a physical location. You need to go outside and see, the, you know, go to the park and play and socialize with other kids your age. You need to. I wouldn't want them to be 24/7 on a video game. So I don't. He only goes to see his father for the weekend. I don't see a problem with that. So yeah, that's an example of you. What's it called? You're making things more difficult for the kid. But the parents of Nolan, they can't protect him now because he's no longer with us. But they're trying to get justice. They fighting for their kid. Like
prior to that situation, would it have been putting your child in unnecessary conflict, or would it be protecting your child to keep them away from certain kids without meeting their parents or whatever, especially living in very racial.
Have they
area,
not met
like
them?
Mississippi. I don't know.
Yeah, we need to know that before we don't want to put that out. Because I think you should meet your kid's friends, but he knew these kids for a while, so we don't know, but I would assume that you did, and they're black parents. They seem like I don't know the people, because what they seem like online and who I don't know them, so I guess I can't really say that, but I do agree you should meet your kids' friends and stuff, because you need to know what type of kids they hanging around and what things they're into, because they could possibly be influenced by that. Even if you teach them to have your own mind and do what you know is right and don't just be a sheep and follow everybody, they might still, fall into peer pressure. So if they're not around that environment where the peer pressure could be, could be positive peer pressure. They could be like, you need to study for this test so you can do a study group. They pushing you to study. Let's do the study group or whatever. So you want them to be around kids like that. That's like a positive impact if they do that. But and then Big Tigger, that lady, she's a bad influence on kids or doing a negative impact. She in there dropping on the floor, doing all this stuff, causing a scene, and this is going viral on the internet. One of her other kids missing.
And this is a good question. This is the last question, because this kind of goes into how you feel about a lot of these questions, because they're very short. And it's not an essay question, but then it's like it's so direct that it's like, well, I could answer it like this, but without me knowing, I could be wrong. They're saying, how much influence does public opinion have before all the facts are known? That's the question. How much influence does public opinion have before all the facts are known?
I think a lot of people, as soon as they hear something, they don't even question. And me, and I hate that, because I always say, well, what did the other person do, or what did, because I'm a person that I need more context. I want to have all the facts before I make a judgment on someone or whatever. But most people, they don't. They just hear something and then they automatically make a decision about who they think that person is without having all the information. And I don't think that that's right. It's not fair. Especially you don't know these people. Most of the stuff that we're talking about, these are people that are online. They're in different states, different countries. They're celebrities. You don't know these. You've never seen most of the people that are discussing this and having opinions about it. They never met these people in real life, so you don't know. You just seeing a glimpse of them on the internet.
I want to answer this question too. I think it has a majority of influence in quality wise on public opinion before the facts are known, because I hear this a lot where they say you're guilty by the public opinion before you even get supported, and now more than ever, that's really what's happening now because of this new buzzword, cancel culture. You know what I mean? So the cancel culture, they destroy your career. You don't have a lot more traffic, but they rely on traffic digitally now. So it cuts you off. People don't support you anymore. It really hurts your brand, when they cancel you. And it's like a real thing. Like a lot of people, like just because of public perception of a person can ruin all your credibility. Look what happened to Johnny Depp, Jonathan Majors. Like you get taken off of Disney, one of the biggest platforms, and it's because somebody just painted a bad picture of you, and their brand doesn't want to be affiliated with you to bring that toxicity and poison their brand with the attention. But sometimes it doesn't matter if you get people that believe you or people that love you, but you want it to pertain to your business. Now you got somebody else's business that's negative coming into your business. That's not good. Yeah, sometimes I feel like people do gotta mind their business.
But they putting it on, and that's what I'm saying. Some stuff need to be private. Why are you recording every single detail of your life?
People love that they're famous. Some things people love that they're famous. They love that they got.
Then you posting video of your baby.
Somebody can't wait to see my age.
Then you posting pictures of your kid because you just had a baby, but you put an emoji over their face. Don't record them then. Why would you make a video and then cover their face up? That don't make no sense. Like it's stupid. And I wouldn't post my kids. I would let if they weren't when they get old enough to say if they want to be, but I wouldn't just be posting my kids. But I'm not gonna put no picture and cover their face up. I'm just not gonna post them. Rest in peace, Michael Jackson. Stories from the Big Book of Serial Killers. Got anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Hey guys, we appreciate you for tuning in to another episode of Get Lifted. 30 is the new 20. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe, and click the notification bell so you're notified the next time we post or go live. I'm La Hefa. Get lifted.